Today, we get into our top 5 favorite POTA hacks tonight on Live Free and Ham. Hello and welcome to Live Free and Ham podcast. This is our weekly show where we discuss ham radio topics in New Hampshire, New England, and beyond. And so we're thrilled to have you here, whether you are a regular listener or tuning in for the first time. And we appreciate you. And thanks for joining in tonight's episode as always. So let's get into the show. I'm your host, Eric, callsign N1JUR, and I'm with both my hosts.
It's Paul, N1OG.
And Todd, W1STJ.
All right, cool. Well, as always, before we get into our topic, we've got a few things we want to catch up on. Some really good stuff's been going on. If you've been getting the podcast for a while, you know that we've alluded to some really good stuff that's coming on. But let's just dive into it either way. Always, you can go up to our storefront at livefreeandham.com/shop. You can head over, check out all of our new merch. We've got new stuff up there that we're updating often. So make sure you check back often and check it out. We say always, we're all sporting our usual gear here tonight. I got the classic on. Paul and Todd both have the custom. What is it? What the heck?
Camo flex fit.
Yeah, the camo flex fit. Flex hat. Yep. Thank you. And so, so with that, get out there, get your Live Free and Ham gear. We love to see you guys wearing it. And as always, we appreciate everybody who's purchased on our storefront. And something that we've been talking about for a little while. This is called Get Your Ham On. We've got a little brain trust here that we've been putting together some cool, interesting topics. But one thing that I know when I drive around, that I'm finding I'm doing more often than usual, is that you're driving in your truck or your car, and you kind of scan around the horizon, and you're always kind of on the lookout when you go buy a car that happens to maybe have a ham antenna or a couple of antennas, and you're kind of like, oh, is that a ham? And you always want to do the tip of the hat type thing to give them the kudos that they usually deserve for sporting the antennas. But maybe if you're like me, you might want to let them know, like, hey, I see your antenna. But, putting a QSL card on their dash or their visor seems a little weird and passé and kind of odd. So, I think we came up with a good idea here, and we've got the solution for you guys. So if you want to head over right now to getham.com, you can check out our little hams. And these little hams have a little disc on the bottom, and that message on the bottom says you've been hammed. And so, hey, you're in a parking lot, and you happen to scan the horizon, like I said, and you see a couple of vehicles with ham antennas on it. You're going to want to go over, just like the Jeepers do. They put them on their dashes. They put them on their door handles. Fill in your call sign. There's a nice little spot that you can write your call sign in, and a URL that they can go to. And this little buddy will sit there on their dash or in their window. And when they get back to their truck or car, they'll be like, what the heck's that? And, lo and behold, you get the ball rolling. And, you can start to, promote ham radio, get people interested. And, these little things are going to ask people what you're doing. Ham radio already does that now. Hey, we're always talking to aliens. So now you can hand them a little pig and you can say, get your ham on. And you can head over to our store or just go to getham.com to find out more. Right now we're doing a little grassroots thing, so we want to get a lot of pictures. So if you've got hammed yourself, make sure you tag us in with the # hashtag of get ham or got hammed, and we would love to see the photos. So keep it coming. We appreciate this, and if you want to run over to our store, like I said, pick up your own. We've got them in small packs and very large packs, and we always like to give them away too on our show. So just keep an eye out for those. So, all right. As always, our feedback. We love feedback. We've got a couple of ways you can always reach out to us. You can do it via SMS. Show notes have that link in there, and you leave us one, we'll happily receive one. And I think we got one this week, and we'll dive into that in a second. You've got the voicemail channel. This is our special 7.200 channel. You can check out that, leave a message, tell us what you think about the show, leave a question, tell us that we need to renew our warranties on our HF radios. I don't care. We're here to listen. And that number is, anybody? Nobody? Oh, we all forgot it. Oh. Failure. All right. All right. Well, as we're queuing it up here, that number is 978-233-1142. And you can go and leave us a voicemail message, and we'll play it on our next episode. So leave a review. Like I said, ask a question. Tell us whether you like the show or not. we're all standing by to hear what you have to say. And as always, the old method that's just a one step above the snail mail approach is you can always send us an email at livefreeandham@gmail.com if you prefer. And I actually have a review in Doing Good that was sent via email. So it is still very possible. And as always, we will be coming up every month, our live stream. We always have once a month in addition to our regular episodes. It's always a surprise, as we don't even know when it is sometimes. So, whatever that means to you is that you got to head over to our YouTube channel. You got to subscribe, and you got to hit that bell to get notified when we do go live. That way you can be part of the fun and the action, and come join us at a live stream show in the near future. So, all right, last but not least, we got a little secret. If you want to be one of the cool kids, as always, head over to our Patreon page. We've got a link on the Live Free and Ham website. You can pick it up there. And as a subscriber, you get immediate access to a bunch of our shows. You get all the backstage kind of content. You get to hear therapy sessions live from Todd. You can hear all of his inner musings all out there in the open. And we just, we love it. We want to share that stuff with you. You have asked for it. We're delivering. So if you want to get that information, you can go over and subscribe to our Patreon. We also have a bunch of other giveaways, discounts, early orders on our merchandise, and much, much more. And as always, membership starts as little as $3 a month, and you get a whole bunch more that I haven't mentioned, but I'm sure is all available, and you can find out more up there on our Patreon site. Wow. Man, we got to shorten that a bit for sure. So, all right. Well, with that, let's dive into our first.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story.
Hey everybody, we got some news.
Slow down, Boog. Let me handle this. We've got some news. I've got bad news and bad news.
I have reviewed ship's personnel, Captain.
Congratulations, you've got mail.
Todd, we got email?
Right.
We got mail? What gives?
Yeah, we did get some mail. And let me just pull it up right now. So I guess I'll read it to you. I was pretty excited when I got this. Kind of popped up on my email, and I was like, it said that you have mail. And I checked it out, and I was like, nice. All right, here it goes. Thank you, Paul and Todd and Eric, for your tireless effort to be good examples and ambassadors to our wonderful hobby. Your comments are inspirational. I am looking forward to the future adventures and fun. 73 Tim, KC1 QDK. Well, thanks, Tim. That was very nice. So, what was that? Our second?
Third.
All right. We've gotten 3.
We're going to put a little counter here on the left-hand side that basically just counts the numbers as they go by.
Did we count Paul's test? He said this
hey, he submitted it. Be careful what you write. That's what they always say. Wow.
Right.
We appreciate that, Tim. But, man, now we actually have to behave and act our age, right? Whatever.
Tim is a big support of ours, and we're a big support of his. So he's been on the podcast a few times, and I'm sure he'll be on it again. So thanks, Tim. Appreciate it. So keep them coming, guys. Let's fill up my inbox so I can read more than one email.
Todd wants a lot. Bring it on. You heard him. Bring it on. That's all I have to say. All right. Well, as always, you can thank you again to everybody who's left us voicemail or feedback. As Todd said, bring it on. We want to get more. We want to see more. So you've got one way. And again, it doesn't even have to be SMS text. You can also send us via voicemail too as well. And we'll make sure we play that on our next episode. And we'll ridicule you for it either way. But all right. Okay, so with our next one.
Doing good. Good. Doing good.
You do, that's good.
You good? You good?
You're doing good.
Absolutely, I do. Good.
Doing good, Bob. Doing real good.
Right now, my only outlet is my ham radio.
All right. Well, we always aspire to do good in ham radio. We try to do it on this show, and obviously it's paying off in dividends. And Tim said so. So whether, you might be assisting in a disaster, providing communications for that road race, in your local town or city, or maybe you're hosting a cool POTA meetup. We all love to participate in some form of ham radio activities. So, there's one great way and one outlet now that you can share what you've done with your club or a bunch of guys and gals got together and did. And, we want to basically share and rejoice in those moments. So I say, bring on the good deeds and share your story with us. And there are many ways, like we mentioned earlier, but I'm going to touch upon here that you can go and share a story. And I've got one today, and I'll allude to that in a second. But, again, it doesn't matter what it is, whether you had a firsthand experience with a total stranger, explaining ham radio while you're activating a park, teaching a student, a family member, a neighbor, the joys of ham radio, the list goes on and on. So this week's episode, I got an email from an old friend a long time ago when I was in my youth days. So that would put me back in like 1991. How old were you, Paul? And what were you still in diapers at that point? Or
Come on now. I was 10 years old.
Okay.
10 years old. Jesus. 10 years old?
I was born in 81.
So I was 20, partying my ass off, having a good old time in PSC.
All right. Well, that's another conversation for another day. But Alan, WA1AHM, an old friend of mine, and I remember very fondly from my police amateur radio days in Westford when I was growing up in the small little town. He sent off an email. Very first off, apparently in the what I'll call the 2024 W1LF debacle, my QRZ page got trampled with the new club call for Live Free and Ham. And in resetting all of that mess, all of my QRZ information to get back to our original call got wiped. And I didn't pay attention to it. I thought it would all be good. And so he sent me a nice, long, stern email saying, what gives, man? You're on Live Free and Ham. You've got your own YouTube channel. Why can't you update your QRZ page? That's the least you could do for us. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And so lo and behold, it brought me to my QRZ page. And yeah, my QRZ page was blank. And I was like, oh, crap. So I had to go back through, added all the links in there. I sent him an email back, and him and I have been corresponding a little bit, but we were sharing some of the stories, and he brought up, how we had our live stream on, I think ham radio is scary, or ham radio can be scary. And, he mentioned that, he didn't feel I was a narc, even though all my guest hosts, said I was, that the Pumpkin Patrol was a great thing that we did in town. And it was actually very, very, very useful because he told a story that I totally forgot that, one of my mentors, who started the Pumpkin Patrol with the police station, the police were very kind of nervous about having these hams out doing this stuff. And the story goes, as I'm told, is that these hams that were getting ready to go out to do the first Pumpkin Patrol had stumbled upon the teens who had, cases of spray paint in the back seat of their trunk of their car, and when they pulled up to them, they were already unloading the spray paint to basically deface a building in town to show their angst to the town and the police and whatnot. And lo and behold, that kind of started the Pumpkin Patrol in town to reporting that to the police, and the police were able to save these the city from defamation of whatever. And whether there's a stretch to that truth or that story, I still think it's a good story. I remember them very much telling me that as a youth, so it was a good memory.
Still a narc.
I know, whatever. But with that, it brought up some really good points, and I love that club. That was one of my very first clubs growing up, and those guys and gals over there have been doing a great job. So if you are in the Mass area and you're looking for a great club, check them out. They're the Police Amateur Radio Team of Westford. They no longer associate themselves with the police as much as they did before, but they kept the name. So, check them out. You can check them out as part or wb1gof.org. They have some great stuff going on there, and it's a great group of guys and gals to plug in with them. And I say thank you for sharing that story, Alan, and appreciate you giving me gruff and crap from my QRZ page because apparently everybody else fell asleep at the wheel, including myself. So that's the example.
Not for nothing, but you're more famous than I am, so your QRZ page should be better than mine.
let's not go there, mister. I like your dog. I have
Everybody
total
loves
proof.
Watson.
Everyone loves Watson. And that other guy, Eric. Yeah, exactly how it played out. It's like, your dog. Why doesn't Eric have a dog on his page? He does. I'm like, I'm not going to put my froofy white little Bichon on my page. That would really lower my rating.
All right.
Cool. So with that, there are a couple of ways you can get to submit your own Doing Good story. As always, you can always go over and leave us a voicemail at 978-233-1142. And we've got a web page form that you can go over to livefreeandham.com/do-good, all one word, and fill in the form, and we will make sure. Speaking of dogs walking by, there goes Watson. You heard his name. Yeah, you can leave your review there or leave your story there, and we'll be reading it on the next episode. So, and as always, as we throw the gauntlet down, because we know there are a few of those diehards that are the type A people. If you're a dedicated ham operator, you can head over to your WinLink client and send Paul an email via WinLink to N1OG. And if he gets it, we'll invite you on our show, our next live show, and you can tell the story there and hang out with us. And, it'll be a blast. So, cool. All right. Well, now to our favorite session here.
Hold on a second. I got a question.
Sure.
So this Doing Good was basically your old friend, mentor, guy in your old ham club, was basically doing good by telling you to get your head out of your ass and fix your QRZ page.
It kind of turned into that because
all right. I just want to make sure like that was doing good. So if our things aren't up to stuff, please let us know.
No, I know, right? We'll happily share it on the air. All right.
That's pretty good.
Well, speaking of, our stuff, are you ready for, what are we, section 6 now or 5 still?
Five.
No, we're still, listen, before we start this, there goes Watson. 5 is very difficult. And these guys that came up with these questions are they make them very confusing because I'm getting them all confused.
Those guys.
Yeah, like guys like the Groucho over there that come up with the questions. Did you do some of these questions? Is that one of your gigs?
I'm not on the question pool committee now.
Oh, you're not? So like
they couldn't handle that burden.
They get you, the voltage and and they're so close, and it's like I'll read them quick. I'm like, oh, I knew that one. I do the wrong one. So the one thing I know is when I get to the section 5 questions, I'm gonna have to take my time and read them and make sure I'm not getting confused because there's some of them are so similar. It's like one word difference.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so it's been taking me long. It's been taking me a longer time to get to the 80-90% efficient rate. So
what I'd like to point out, and you may or may not know where this, but Leah Nass finally got her general, my friend. She took the test and she's passed her general. She may be working for her extra. I don't know. No confirmation there. No public. So just, I'm just saying.
Leah, she had been working on that general for over a year.
I know.
Yeah.
Hopefully you won't be, but.
All right. Well, you gave me 3 weeks to say you're taking your general test, remember? And I started studying. So
that's all I have to do is say the next 3 weeks you could have studied, cram it in, and we could have ended this episode.
I need to go. I need to go away to some private
island.
Where no one knows where. Yeah, private island.
We were scheduled sometime next week, I think, to go to a private island somewhere.
We were supposed to go. Yeah. Listen, it was like an omen. The first week, like November. I think it was during election. It was either that, but it's been raining down there. It's been they've been in flood watches. So I was like, sweet. Okay. It sucks when it's raining.
I don't feel so bad then.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were all going to go away and activate an island, but that would have been a fun week. In the future. So, all right. Well, without anything further ado, let's get into it.
And now for something a little extra with Todd W1STJ.
All right. Well, you've heard it here. This is where we help Todd study for his extra class license. All right. Each episode, we pick 3 questions from the extra class pool. This is one of them. We're going to test his knowledge and hoping he gets closer to his upgrade. So if you always like to follow along, you can head over to hamstudy.org. Great little app. It's always a great resource to help you prepare for your test, and it's recommended by 3 out of 4 volunteer examiners because, oh boy, holy crap, the ARL was unavailable for comment at the time of survey. Without further delay, I hand it over to our quizmaster. Paul, take it away.
All right, Todd. Continuing with sub-element number 5, here is question number 1. How is the Q of an RLC parallel resonant circuit calculated? Is it A, reactance of either the inductance or capacitance multiplied by the resistance? B, reactance of either the inductance or capacitance divided by the resistance? C, resistance divided by the reactance of either the inductance or capacitance? Or D, reactance of the inductance multiplied by the reactance of the capacitance?
See what I mean?
Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah. Oh. Well, you know what? I'm going to go with D.
Okay.
Off the top of my head, I think it's B.
All right. So Todd says D, and D is incorrect. And Eric says B, and B is also incorrect.
Dividing. Yeah.
Correct answer is C. It is dividing.
That was the trigger. Divided.
So the explanation, fundamentally, regardless of circuit configuration, Q factor is defined as the ratio of reactive power. It's represented as P sub X over dissipative resistive power. So there's your formula. In a parallel RLC circuit, the input voltage is applied equally across the 3 branches. Using the version of the power equation with voltage and impedance terms, and considering that at resonance, reactive impedance of the inductance equals that of the capacitance, solve for reactive and resistive power.
Okay, when the definition is a tongue twister, you know it's a trick question.
All right. Well, here's some hints. Okay. Resistance is the first word and only one of the answers for the parallel version of this equation, of this question. Q is a ratio, therefore it'll be a division, not a multiplication. So thereby you're doing 50%. RLC is resistance divided by L or C, inductance or capacitance. The correct answer has the word or in it, or the correct answer is the only one that starts with resistance.
Let's go back and see those questions again. I mean, the answers.
Or.
Yeah.
Or.
Okay, but I could set the building on fire.
That's my take on it.
All right. Well, let's get going with question number 2. What coordinate system is often used to display the phase angle of a circuit containing resistance, inductive, and or capacitive reactance? Is it A, a Faraday grid, B, a Maidenhead grid, C, polar coordinates, or D, elliptical coordinates?
I'm going to go with C, polar coordinates.
Eric?
Display. I love how hey, we're going to put electricity in this system. Yeah, I'm going to go with C.
Right. And C is correct. So to explain, polar coordinates are often used to display the phase angle of a circuit containing resistance, inductive, and or capacitive reactance. In a polar coordinate system, each point on the graph has 2 values, a magnitude and an angle. So your hint is Polarization is measured with an angle, and phase is measured with an angle. So polarization, polar.
I would have used just coordinates because that was the only one that had coordinates in.
Well, you can go in and you can request the ability to edit.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, graphs and charts. Woo!
All right. So here's a look at figure E5-1. And what I'll do is
For
I'll
our
try
podcast
to
listeners,
blow it up for you for the viewers.
I can't even see the numbers on it.
It just says 0.321.
Yeah.
All right, here
That's
we'll
all right.
we'll skip it.
No, that's fine.
So
No, we can do it.
If it doesn't show correctly, you're at a disadvantage. So it's not fair. All right, so here we go. What is the relationship between the AC?
See, Todd, V's have a heart.
Can I skip the real Todd? All right.
All right. What is the relationship between the AC current through an inductor and the voltage across an inductor? Is it A, current leads voltage by 90 degrees? B, voltage and current are 180 degrees out of phase? C, voltage and current are in phase? Or D, voltage leads current by 90 degrees?
I'm going to go with D. Voltage leads current by 90 degrees.
Voltage always leads current.
Yes, you are correct.
Great job!
So a helpful way to remember the relationship of current and voltage in inductors and capacitors is Eli the Iceman. So in a capacitor, symbol C is symbol C, current I leads voltage E led by 90 degrees. In an inductor, symbol L, voltage E leads current I by 90 degrees. Further goes on to explain there, but this is question number 3.
Oh,
no, it's 4.
Right? Is this question number 4?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we already did 2, and I missed one. So
I missed the first one.
2 for 3.
Oh,
bring it on! Well, there you have it, folks. 2 out of 3 isn't bad.
See what I mean? Like they're confusing, and you got to really, yeah.
Yep, just have to memorize the answer. That's basically what.
Yeah, I would have just kept giving him questions through the whole episode.
We can get ahead of the curve here.
You want to do one? It's just an hour-long study session.
We could do like Ham Radio DX did, 24 hours of ham radio. We could do 24 hours of testing with Todd.
Oh my God, I'd probably get it by then. It'd just be like me studying on the phone. It'd just be studying on the podcast. I'm sure people would love that.
Yeah, that would.
Well, maybe people studying for their extras might like that, but I think
we'd have to turn it into a drinking game because that's the only way Paul and I could have some enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, every time it's a run, you do a shot of. You take a sip out of your whiskey glass.
There you go. You know it, and you saw it there. The ham radio glasses are out and about in the storefront, so make sure you go and get one of yours before they're gone. All right. Well, so with that. If you're studying for your technician, general, or extra class like Todd is, in that case, hamstudy.org is a great resource for you getting your ticket. And as always, like we say every time, and we mean it, if you recently received your license or upgraded, let us know. We want to recognize you on the next episode for your hard work and effort. And you can always email us at livefreeandham@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail letting us know that you got your ticket or an upgrade, and we'll share it on the next show. Well, we're down to the regular show notes here. So, in usual format, let me ask, Paul, how has your ham radio week been, my friend?
Well, you know what? Actually, not too bad. I got to be on the Thursday night playlist for the first time ever, which was exciting with my my shortened and recut Summit on the Air video. I like the second cut a lot better. Granted, I shortened it down. I got rid of the majority of the hike. But you get the summit, you get the activation. I gave a little bit of commentary in there.
A nice voiceover, my friend. Good job.
I appreciate it. Yes, it's one of those things I got to learn to get better at being a little bit more comfortable just kind of telling my story in the video. But then yesterday, drove down to Rhode Island for the day. I got to activate Scarborough North State Beach in Narragansett. Very nice, beautiful beach. Got some awesome footage on the beach. Made 44, 45 contacts. And we left early this morning, picked up my wife's new kitten, and came home. So that was the end of the ham radio week.
Nice. Cool. Well, did you didn't participate in any of the sweepstakes this weekend at all?
No, I didn't do any contesting.
All right. Well, not bad there, man. Activating any day of the week is always a good day in my book for sure. And you got a cat for the bonus. I don't know how he's going to handle 4 or 5 other dogs, but only time will tell, right?
The cat will be all right because we got 2 other cats. We got 3 dogs. So,
wow. Outnumbering the family.
No, but this one's all black. And so I had to make sure that my wife knew that K-Murder also had an all black cat named Satan.
Satan.
And so this one's Cobweb.
Oh, okay. Cobb for short, I'm sure. Or get the hell out of here. You're in my way.
Cat.
So, all right, cool. Well, hey, good on the videos there, my friend. Keep them pumping. We love having you on the Tuesday, Thursday night playlists. It's always fun to have and see new videos. It keeps the interest for sure. It's motivating me to finally finish off a lot of the other videos that I've been kind of sitting on. So I'll be able to get back in that rotation as well. And, it's all good with POTA there. So 44 is a good number, especially I think when it was solar flares too. So bands were a little challenging, but all good either way. So with that, my friend Todd, how is your ham radio week or non-ham radio week been?
Well, HF, it's been absolutely crappy. I have my radio, my go bag, my POTA bag in the car, ready to go. Batteries all charged up, and I keep trying to get out there, but work has been kind of getting in the way. A lot of things been going on. I've been working on a pretty intense case, and so it's been not happening. But I am like dying to get out there and do one. So, but I did find out today. I talked to my brother-in-law, and we do a family vacation with his family and our family, and a couple of my nephews and and my other brother-in-law and his wife. So we all go. We went down. Like one year we went to Big Bear. Another year we went down to Florida. This year we went to North Carolina. Well, this year we're talking about going to Yellowstone.
Not during field day though, right?
No. It's probably going to be in the fall. Maybe the week before Memorial Day. I don't know. We're looking at. We don't want to go when it's crowded, so we're not going to go in the summer. We want to go. Like they went one time the week before Memorial Day, and he said that there was like no one there. He had it was just like no one there, and he said it was awesome. Nice. But what's cool about it is we're going to be staying inside the park, which means for a week, wherever I go, literally, if I'm in the park, right? Like I can honestly, like if we're staying at a cabin or a hotel, I don't even know where we're staying, or even if I have an RV, wherever I'm at, it's going to be POTA land. So I'm planning on doing a lot of POTA on the off time, and I don't have to go anywhere. So I mean, literally, I could just walk outside. So I was kind of excited about that. And then, of course, him and my wife are giving me crap about it, making fun of me, but it's going to be a cool vacation. I can do POTA like at any, when I was in North Carolina, it's like I had to get all my crap, drive, set up. Like, I mean, if we're in a cabin, I'm just going to set up and leave it
all the time. You got to pull a Ryan and do it from Maine.
Yeah. So I'm kind of excited about that. I'm also, working on trying to figure out when I'm going to have time, but I want to start doing YouTube and get some videos in there. Not as intense as you guys, but so I've been looking at how I'm going to do that, and I might go back to an Apple computer to do that. So I've been doing some research and stuff, and they're just so damn expensive. But the way I look at it is, if you use the Apple computer, it's kind of like a phone. You don't like it, after a couple of years, you return it. You get I mean, if you like it, but you want to get the upgraded version, you can return it. And I've been looking at. They say like the new laptops, like the MacBook Pro and the MacBook Air. I don't think I'll need a Pro, but let's say I get the Air, and then I find out that I really get into this YouTube, making videos and stuff, and I need to get the more thing. You can turn it in. But the other thing that's nice is like these computers, people are using them for like, an average of 5+ years before needing to kind of upgrade, because, they're so good right out of the box, and that they've got like the latest and greatest. So I don't know. It's a lot of money, but I really I don't think I'm going to be able to do all the video editing that I want to do on my iPad. I think I'm going to need the computer for that. But
start small, man. Start small.
Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah, I'll probably do one or two, but I really need I think I'm going to need like a laptop. So the question is when I'm going to be doing this editing, there's a lot of my downtime. So like if I'm at court, got to wait an hour or two, nice to have a laptop, can mess around with it. If I'm at a training that I've already been to 5 times, I could do that. Mm-hmm. I'm at a staff meeting, I can do it.
You could.
I'm just thinking of like times that I'm just bored out of my mind, wishing I was doing something else. Now I do my studying a lot when I have to go to those things, but I just think it would be easier for me to get more stuff done, because my problem is I come home from work and I'm not like physically tired. I'm just emotionally drained. And I don't feel like doing anything, especially sitting at a computer and editing and that kind of stuff. So we'll see. Cool. I'm going to keep looking at it, and I've been watching some YouTube videos and stuff like that.
Very cool. And, well, we're looking forward to whatever you got. I mean, in essence, even if it's like
also, I don't know if this is ham radio, doing, but I did a lot of work today clearing out for my DX Commander. Like a lot of work. I had to chainsaw out today. So
you might want to pull the coax out first and get that set up. So by the time we assemble it in the garage, it's going to be the first snowfall. So you want to make sure the coax is already underground at that point.
Well, we had some like windy days and storms over the summer, and I had a big tree fell across my spice that I was doing it, and I've been working at it. Like I honestly, like at first I ripped everything out with like a metal rake. Then I was using the what do you call it? The weed whacker with the metal blade on it. And then I took the lawnmower over it, and there's still like stuff. And then this tree fell on it. So I finally got that cut off. So I've got I'm waiting for the first snowfall, because I got a huge bonfire to burn, and it wasn't supposed to, it was all gone at the beginning of the summer. And now it's like, it's huge again.
Back again. Yep.
And I can't burn because we're in red flag things, and I really want the snow to come down. So once the snow's on the ground, I can torch that thing.
Well, now you should dig your trench for the cable then. get that underground.
I think I don't know if that's going to be such a pain. You know how hard that's going to be, how far it is?
You don't have to go down that far, man. You only have to go down like maybe 1 inch, 2 inches at minimum. You don't have to like
really
bury it. Yeah. I mean, it's not doing anything being, even if you want to be lazy, you can throw it on the ground. It doesn't really matter.
Well, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run it through the woods, right? Outside the grass until I get to the point where I got to go across. That way I'm not digging so much. And it'll like in the woods, it'll get buried by leaves and dirt and everything else. So I'm not too worried about that. So yeah.
Well, just get the Lord Callum, little wire holder downer things.
Yeah. Actually, I have a bunch of, they're called, not landscape stakes. They're called, they're landscape stakes. Basically, they're like horseshoes. They look like they're thinner horseshoes, and they basically just stakes it down with a cable, and all the grass just covers over his wires eventually.
Yeah, well, I'd have to do it across the grass, so I got to cut the grass, so I got to go over that. But I think in the woods, maybe I'll do that, pin it down a little bit. But like I said, there's so much crap back there; it'll just bury itself.
Right.
So
that's the way my stuff is.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, good on that. Looking forward to videos, like I said, and eventually we'll hopefully get you, hopefully see you do another POTA sometime.
I'll do one.
Gosh, it's so hard to get good help these days. I'm doing great, Todd. How was my ham radio week?
Oh, is that what you were doing? I thought you were pointing to the grouch saying I was grouchy. Jesus. Why didn't you say anything? Why don't we just start with you starting off with my week was like
because
this?
It's not customary as the host to be the first person of attention.
All right, Eric. So how was your wonderful ham radio week? Because I know you've done some things.
Yeah, well, I don't know about ham radio this week, but I definitely have been doing some things. I've been more motivated to get some videos done. I wanted a small, simple layup project, so I put a frame around my ham radio. Not my ham radio, my Geochron. And so that's all mounted and looked all pretty. And the wife acceptance factor, actually, I got a thumbs up to approved, although her last response was like, you're crazy. Why did you backlight it? But she liked the frame. So at least I got the points for the frame. So the Geochron
she didn't like the backlight?
She thought the backlight was a little excessive. And I'm like, well, then I better not turn it on to the rainbow or LED or any of the cloud scenes that the Govee light set chain light set offers. But it's all good. Oh, yeah, and so so that was a little side project.
Off his condo, one of those swaying
like,
beams that will show everyone where you're at.
Breakthrough of the bat signal.
On. Yeah, the ham signal.
So I built that, and I finished my battery tray. So we talked a long while back about building a kind of like a battery command charging center, and so I kind of assembled some location in my back storage room where all my ham radio equipment is, where I set up all chargers and have several like basically multiple shelves and stations that I'll do a video on. But now I can take all of my I just forget what the heck they're called. Meshtastic devices, charge them all on a stand in one location. All the batteries that go with that, all of my recording equipment batteries, all my ham radio stuff is all in one spot. So I now when I empty out my bag and I come back from a POTA, I just drop batteries in and drop connectors everywhere, and everything's all good. So I can go to one place, and I've got it locked in my brain now, Paul. I'm just telling you now. You hear it here. That when I leave, I know everything's all hooked up. It goes right in my bag, and my battery's charged, and my camera batteries are working, and so forth and so on. So I think I've got that nailed down. But we'll see how it tests out and proves itself. And so, yeah, I'm proud of that one finally. And like I said, I've got another project that I'm building a 100 amp hour battery. If Todd's aware of a nice little modular like click lock system, sort of like the Milwaukee stuff, but this one's out of Lowe's, and I found a nice little case that's going to be a really cool battery setup. So I'll have that on my channel soon, but I'm learning how to wire up batteries and get all of the solar chargers and distribution blocks together and kill switches and the whole 9 yards. So that's been a fun little wiring project to get my hands dirty with, and hopefully we'll have up on that channel. But I haven't played much radio. I alluded to Paul, the sweepstakes stuff. I played in that today just a little bit. That sweepstakes, man, whoever decided to have the exchange that way just needs to be dragged out into the woods and beaten profusely. What is your thought process of like, okay, numbering score, and then if it's numbering score, the type of class you're in, which is a one letter identifier, a signal report, which is always 5-9 anyway, and then a specific code or check. You have to use the word check, and then you have to use the year you were licensed, the last 2 digits of the year, and then your call sign after. And that's the exchange all the time. And I'm like, what's your thought process of that? Like, granted, you try to make it more difficult for people to remember, because what happens is you get these guys who are trying to work the 85 sections to get the cup from ARL, and they hate to get interrupted by someone new who's like, oh, what contest were you in? What's the exchange? I can't remember when I was last licensed. And then they go into like they're having a big rag chew with this person. And he's like, what year were you licensed? Let me look it up. And they go look it up. He's like, you're licensed in 2024. So, why is this such a hard time? And so, yeah, I was like, this is a long contest. But yeah, so I threw a few of those out there and got bored with it really quickly and said, it's not for me. So yeah, that was my ham radio week. And, I'm glad I at least played a little radio there and looking forward to, what next week brings, because we've got some cool stuff on the horizon, which I'm going to keep under locks for now, but we can talk in future episodes about. And so, all right. Well, with that, as we alluded to at the beginning of the episode, we were going to talk about POTA hacks. I mean, this is kind of the season that a lot of YouTubers are in. They're talking about new ways to, make your ham radio experience easier, whether you do POTA or you do, anything related to, ham radio. How can you improve your situation, whether, improving speed, performance, and setup or teardown, or, little things that make your life a little easier. So we're going to talk about our top 5 hacks that we all share. We probably share some of them, and some of them may cross over. But ultimately, we're going to share what we know and what we love to do when we're out in, activating a POTA or maybe hunting, if you got a couple of hunting ones. And so that covers everything: gear, setup, teardown, whatever. Sky's the limit. And so we're going to start with number 5 and work backwards. And one's going to be our best hack that we think that we want to share. We're going to go in a roundabout here, and Paul's going to keep all of this in the notes for the show. So if you ever want to go back, you can obviously go back and watch the pod or listen to the pod again, or you could just check the notes section out, and all of that stuff will be listed there, and hopefully will be useful to you, and maybe you'll glimmer a nugget of POTA truth out of some of that stuff. So how about we start? Who wants to start first?
Paul can go.
All right. Well, I always feel bad with these things because like I'm the guy that's all about being prepared and like, so. All right. All right. Number 5 on my list. The thing that I think is on most days it's a game changer, but it's not always necessary. Is a lightweight folding table. I've got a Cabela's aluminum folding table. It weighs next to nothing. It's bulky, it's big, so like to do a long trek from my vehicle with it, it's not ideal. Yesterday I think I did maybe a quarter-mile walk from my vehicle, carrying 2 chairs and my table and my radio bag and all of the other accoutrements. So it is doable. So I would say that's my number 5, is having a nice foldable table.
Now, is your foldable table like solid aluminum, or is it fold down even smaller?
No, it's well, you've seen it. It's the one I always have.
Oh yeah, okay. I know what you're talking about now. Good. Okay.
Yeah,
all right. So
like
similar to kind of what I used to have. All right.
Yeah, the Cabela's like camping, little tiny
setup. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I think that's definitely a must, especially if you're doing POTAs. Although sodas, you're not bringing anything. You're just trying to find the closest nearest rock. So that all works to your benefit. So all right, cool. So tables there. So what say you, Todd? What's your number 5 there? In terms of top 5 hacks.
Well, I would say number 5, if you're going to a park that you've never been to, figure out where you're going. Make sure you can get to it through, your GPS, Waze, or whatever you use. Because sometimes you'll see on the POTA app, it'll show you like the dot, and it's like in the middle of the woods, and there's no roads or anything. So you got to kind of put either the coordinates in or get on a map and kind of see where the roads are and kind of figure out where you're going to go, and just have that prepared so you're not like in the general area and you have no idea where you're going to go, because you're like, wait a minute, this is, where is this park? So if you don't know where the park is, kind of prep that out, and you can do that before, even if you drive by the area. I've driven by areas and not going to do a park, but know that I'm going to do it and just scope it out a little bit and then kind of know. And another way I do that is if I can't find a place to do it, I'll reach out to someone who like the latest activator and send them an email and say, hey, where'd you activate? And so it's kind of like prior, if you know if it's a new park, you've never been there, you want to be prepared of where you're going to go and what you need to set up.
So would you say you do it like 24 hours in advance, like a couple hours in advance, like the night before kind of deal? What's your MO on that?
Yeah, I mean, it would be like, maybe the night before, or if I'm going to go in the afternoon, maybe in the morning do it, and just take a few minutes to set it up.
Yeah.
And like I said, sometimes I have a list of POTA places I want to, like, parks I want to do, and I know the general area, but if I'm driving by there, I might want to, if I have some time, scope it out and see where the best spot would be, instead of just trying to show up and be like, oh, now what? Because you might find like you don't need a table because there might be a picnic bench or something. Other times you might say, hey, I need a table because there is nothing. It's like just a field or whatever.
Now, any one specific app or a couple apps you use to do that planning with? Is it like you have a go-to a few apps outside of the POTA app? Or no?
Yeah, I mean, I use Waze for everything. I don't even use the all the other ones I've tried aren't as good as Waze. And so yeah, but I'll use like Google Maps or any of the map things where you can kind of stretch it out and see, and simultaneously use the POTA app to see where the park boundaries are, and then compare and try to say, okay, where can I get the road? Or use the POTA app, you see where the roads are that might come into it, and sometimes you got to hike into them. So then you got to be prepared for a hike, and you don't just show up there thinking you're going to pull into a parking lot and be in the park. Sometimes you have to like walk into it. So and I do that a lot when I travel. So when I travel down south, I will sometimes go to the park, and the park might have a website, so I'll investigate that too. Look at the website, see what it's at, and then go from there. So
cool. All right. Well, if you've got anything you want to throw in on, something like that, Paul, as well, feel free to jump in on top of anything that we all throw in the ring, just as an add-on there. But I'd say with that, I would just do one add-on would be Google Maps. I love doing the Street View type stuff. That always is a big plus, especially like where the markers aren't like exactly where the park is, and you want to see what the drive-through kind of scenario is. If it's at all possible, to get, the Street View stuff. But Google Maps is a good, saver for me, where I can, drill down to really Street View level. So good thing there. All right.
Yeah,
well,
I mean, I've done everything that Todd was saying. But for those that are hunters and they subscribe to OnX Hunt, that app is absolutely phenomenal for being able to see the park boundaries. So
yeah, that's all offline too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so good app there for sure. If you can get the subscription on that, I know a lot of like 4x4 guys overlanders use a lot of that app. So good stuff. All right. Well, for me, my number 5 is, and I alluded to this in the what's going on in your ham radio week, is a battery charging station. I am notoriously a dumbass when it comes to flipping my batteries to actually a real charging, wall wart, or, my camera batteries, or anything in the mix of in between. And I've always just been like, my bag's ready, so I'll grab it off the shelf and I'll run. I very much have to nip it in the bud. I'd say if you get a place you can put, where you put your bag and all your POTA gear, if it's not in your vehicle, to basically set up a small little, shelf and get your battery charging devices and everything all kind of just mounted permanently, whether it's double-sided tape or whatever, where it's a simple, like, you just take the barrel connector, you take the power pole connector, and you just plug it in and walk away and let it do its thing. You will save yourself many a headache. And me be speaking, firsthand experience. Yes, I have plugged into chargers that weren't in a nice, good, well set up environment, and plugged them in thinking they were charging the night before, and lo and behold, they weren't charging because they weren't plugged into the wall. So yeah, that's just my advice. Set yourself up for success, and that's a good place to start, because a well charged battery is a good place to have a good activation. All right, Anything with 5, or we just roll to number 4?
Let's go to 4.
Pull it.
All right, pull it.
All right. So number 4 on my list is actually software, and it's ADIF Master.
Oh.
It's free, but let me tell you that there are times where there's going to be something that may be off in your logs, and having a good bit of software to fix it, it just makes things so much easier. Several times I've been in situations where, I've had to split my log due to, the park being in 2 states, and I'm trying to get credit for both states. Or even like yesterday, during the course of logging, my tablet messed up.
Oh.
And so, like, I've already got the next guy on, and he's given me my signal report already, and he's waiting for me to respond, and the tablet's not
Crashed.
entering the last contact. So I did what I had to do. I wiped it and entered the next guy in and just moved on.
Mhm.
Well, it happened to be that I had video. So I went back to the video, and I was like, all right, here's the guy's call sign. I know it was between this time and this time, so I just created a new entry in ADIF Master, and I made sure that guy got credit for hunting me.
Very cool. That's a good app. We'll leave that link in the show notes so you can go grab that. That is always a challenge. I know a lot of new POTA people, they all go to the websites, and they all go to like, oh, how can you make an ADF log and export all that stuff? And it's like, use ADF Master. You will be much happier, like Paul said, using it.
It's free.
Yeah, totally. Well worth it. All right, Paul, Todd, what do you got for your 4?
So my hack is, I am I'd say 90% of the time, I always bring my POTA bag with me in my car. It fits perfectly behind the driver's seat if you don't have passengers, easy access. And the reason I do that is you never know when you might have time, or you drive by a park and have to stop. I mean, because when I didn't do that, all of a sudden, like, unexpected time would come up, and I'm like, oh my God, it's beautiful. Let's go do a park. And then, oh shit, I don't have my radio. So I have my POTA bag, and when I go home, I lug it out, bring it inside, but I leave it right by the door. And then in the morning, it's right there, and I shove it back in the car. I don't want to leave it. I mean, the spring and this time of year, it's not so bad, but when it's too hot or too cold, you don't want to just leave it in the car. But yeah, that's my hack. Just have it with you, and you can grab and go, and you never know when you might be able to activate. And it might be a time where, if I get out, if I'm working and I get out of a meeting that's away, and I'm driving back, and I'm supposed to be back at, I don't know, say 3:00, and the meeting gets out at noon, I might take a long detour to get back to the office, But yeah, I mean, you never know. And sometimes you can't do it. I mean, obviously, if you're going somewhere and you get the whole car packed or whatever, but if not, sometimes I'll just throw it in the truck. But it's probably a good idea. So that would be my thing. Bring your bag with you.
Cool. Yeah, I'd agree. I still move from vehicle to vehicle, but I'm doing less traveling now. So, it kind of just gets set by the stairs for me. But definitely good to have it. I kind of solved that on another scenario. I put HF in the truck, so even if I forget everything, I can still play HF from the truck. So it's a more expensive route.
Yeah, you take it to the next level there, Eric. This is supposed to be hacks, not like breaking bags.
Right. Well, yeah, right, exactly, right. Yeah, so that's an over hack. But for me, for my hack, I'd say mesh net zippered bags. These are like on Amazon. They're basically called like ladies' makeup bags. They're see-through black mesh. They come in all different sizes. It's sort of like Todd's. The Todd's, yours aren't see-through, but mine are like smaller see-through, so you can actually see the contents inside. And I use them for like part storage for like all my FT8 digital stuff, all the connectors I might need for the radio or that I have in the bag. Any sundry cable connectors, like we all need the battery, the cable cable charger to charge. If you need Lightning to USB, or you need USB-C to USB-A, I keep all of those cables and whatnot in those little bags, and I just throw them in the front pocket. They smash down really lightly. And I never have to touch them. I always make sure, and this is the one tip that I always learned from Thomas Witherspoon, K4SWL. He always said, never, I'll put in the word, bastardize your other bags. Make sure every bag has the same set of stuff in it. That way you don't go into another bag and steal a connector. And if you have to, make sure you keep a little list. And I don't have those lists, but I try to keep all my bags separate and all the connectors appropriately. So things don't, ever get lost. And the only time they do is when I'm actually using them out in the field and I forget to, I let someone borrow a connector or whatever. At least I can go back to the bag and review, hey, I'm missing so-and-so. So
you know how you're doing that, a little thing that I've been thinking about doing is that box that you're building your battery box in. Mm-hmm. One of the things that they do is they're stackable. And I've got in the back of my Jeep, I've got a big kind of bin. I guess they call it like the large toolbox. It's got a little tray, but I've got like my first aid kit in there. I've got my tool. I have a tool, all my tools, so my wife and kids don't steal them, are in this tool. What do you call it? Those round where you roll them up, tool roll thing.
Oh yeah, right.
I got that in there. Just stuff that I don't want anyone touching, but I need, and it's good to have tools and stuff in your car. So I got all that crap in there, and then I've got, it comes with, you can get a milk crate is what I call it. And that snaps on top and you can interchange them any other way. And I've got that. Now, what I can do, what I was thinking of doing is like, okay, baseball, I get the milk crate, put all my baseball shit in it. I'm going to baseball, take the other one off, plop that one on. But they also sell a toolbox one with sliding drawers. They also sell a parts one. You can either get a half size or a full size. And, you can arrange it so you can put your tools. So I was thinking of like doing that for the ham radio. I was thinking about getting two small ones, like two single ones, because that would make one top, and put my RC stuff that I need those parts for, and then the ham radio for the other things. That way, if I'm doing and something breaks and I don't bring the toolbox or whatever, I need a part, I have it. So similar to what you're doing, but I like the way that you can stack and interchange, and then you can move things around as needed.
Good point. I know he's aching to talk about his setup, and I love his color coding. So go for it, my friend.
Well, so I valued my setup a little bit higher on my list than you. So I actually have my colored canvas bags as my number 2 item.
Well, then we'll hold off on that one. Then I don't want to give it another, but yes, he does a color coding system, and it's intense. But it makes sense. I mean, I can't adopt colors because I need labels or I need to see stuff. I don't know what it is. It's just my thing, but it's an awesome system. So
and if you're colorblind, it won't work. But okay,
true, right? Well, I'm not colorblind, but yeah, Todd, that whole modular system, whether you do Milwaukee or like any of those other manufacturers out there, are definitely well worth it. I know the one that you and I really look at and love.
The thing is, like, I mean, they even have a cooler. You can attach a cooler to the top of it. I mean, you can make the thing huge, but what's cool about it is that they're interchangeable and they're so easy to pop on and off. So you could, I'm just trying to think like what are better ways to do it.
Well, they are coming out with a first aid kit, like the smaller slimline ones that have the compartments inside. They're making a first aid one specifically, and then they're partnering with another first aid, like one of the big first aid bags that they companies that are out there. I can't remember their names, but that's supposed to be coming out soon. So. Because I was going to build like a first aid one for my, my truck to kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I just have a first aid bag, and I just shove. I mean, I think it came with like the basics, and I guess anytime I need more stuff, I just shove more stuff into it. But that would be kind of cool. But it's got a cooler. I mean, it's got everything. And what's great is like I can move it around. I can take it out of my Jeep, throw it on the garage. I mean, when I go to the flying field, most of the time I need all the space to put all the planes in. I just take the whole thing out and leave it on my garage. And then, I mean, in my driveway, and then go to the field and come back and then put it back in.
So I'll leave a link in the show notes to what Todd and I are talking about. It's made by Lowe's. It's called Tough Built. So if you've seen some of their stuff, it's a little pricey, but I think it's like good quality, like on the Milwaukee level. But
you can't. Cheaper. It is very high quality. Like I honestly don't think you can break this crap. Like it is solid.
Good stuff. Okay. Well, going on to number 3 here. So, Paul, what do you got for your number 3?
All right. So my number 3 is the extra large mouse pad that I got from Quirky QRP. And I know there's a lot of different variations out there with different brands or whatever. But this one, I really like the ham related information that it's got on it. The dual side of it is not only does it protect the radio when I'm putting the radio down on top of it, but I wrap the radio in it.
Yeah,
So
nice.
it gives an extra layer of protection when I'm putting the radio in my bag.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, yeah, those mouse pads are great. I haven't bit the bullet yet to buy one, but I'm starting to warm up to it. But warm up to it in a different way. We're working on some secret squirrel project, so we'll talk about that a lot later. So keep an eye, your ear out for that. Okay, cool. Well, do you have one of those mouse pads at all, Todd?
Yeah, I got a bunch of them.
Yeah.
I've got the Quirky QRP ones. I think I got 2. I won one on
HRC, right?
Yeah. And I also bought one prior to that. And then I just bought a bigger one from Mike. So yeah, I've got a bunch of them, and I keep forgetting to put it. And you remind me, I got to put it in my bag because I have the 2 extra ones I'm not using. They're just sitting here, and I'm like, I got to put that in. And every time I forget, and then I go to do an activate, I'm like, oh, where's that freaking mouse pad I should have put in?
Well,
Especially
I'll
being
tell
in
you-
general, you have to stay in your band privileges.
Yeah.
It wraps an 891 perfectly.
Yep.
Does it?
No, I know.
Nice.
Yeah, I had it wrapped once.
Even with the rails on them, the 0 rails on it, no problem.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. Well, there you have it. There's a tip. Okay. So yeah. So you're What was your number 3? You didn't do 3 yet, did you?
Me?
I'm getting old.
Me? No.
Yeah.
All right. So this is this is one that I do, but I think you guys won't do this because you don't use my Buddy Pole Pro. But if you're a Buddy Pole Pro POTA user, huh?
Mine's in my truck.
Yeah. All right. What I do is I leave it set up for the last band I use. So if I'm doing 20 meters, I'll have it set up for 20 meters so I can quickly just add it on, plug the thing in, not pull those things off. I leave them on there, and I know exactly what to do. If I change it to 10, and what I normally do is start on the band that I last did. So if I start on 10, because the time before I ended on 10, I'll start the next activation on 10. And then if I move to 20, I'll leave it on 20, but then when I pull it out, I know that I'm starting 20. You know what I mean? So like it's sometimes if you take that thing off, that little screw thing, and you put it back on, if you don't put it on the what?
Bye-bye, it's gone. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I've got a bunch of them, but I'm just saying if you take it off the coil, sometimes it's not, and you put it on the coil, you don't get the same. I just find that if you leave it on there and you did an activation, or if you did a couple like within the week, you're going to be getting resident and getting a better SWR a lot easier than if you actually had to redo it. Right. So it's just like a time saving thing for me.
Sure. And it's all about time when you do POTA, right?
Yeah. So I mean, it's especially like when I'm doing like the lunch break POTA, right? If I'm working the rail trail and I need to be in and out of there in an hour, I don't have time to mess around with the antenna, and it's only for that antenna, just because, I find the vertical antenna, that antenna does well for me, especially, during the day. So I don't know, it's kind of like a hack, but it's not really a hack.
Hey, the fact that you're leaving the stubs on, I have not taken. I've used it twice, I think, in my whole career so far, and I've not left those little studs on, screw studs on the coil. So, you're definitely one step. They are a pain in the ass to get on and off if you sausage fingers. So,
and you can't. I found too that even though they say you can put multiple ones on, it messes the SWR up. So I just do one at a time.
Cool. All right. Well, so with that, my number 3 is kind of more of, we'll say, a frivolous item, but all of us still like to have the capabilities. I have a iPad with data enabled on it. When I first started POTA, I didn't. I was always using my hotspot. I was always dependent on that stupid cell phone not ringing, and when for whatever reason, I'd get a call, the data connection would sever, and so I just basically said screw this and bought a tablet with the data connection on it, and it's improved my logging, and has been great for the benefits of being able to take my data and get it back up to the cloud after I'm done with activating, because it is one of those things when you get old and you suffer from CRS like me, you don't always remember when you get home to do something with your logs, because you're like, yeah, I got home, I'm just kind of basking in the glory of me making so many contacts that I didn't bother to think that I should upload my freaking log to get the credit for it, and then 3 or 4 days later roll around but the benefit to that is now I'm able to, basically upload the logs to my shared cloud service and then get home and then slurp them in and go from there. So the data connection helps a lot.
It's funny you said that, because this is my number 2.
Well, then you can expand. I think there's a couple of newer hacks though with the tablets you mentioned in terms of uploading. So I will let the cat out of the bag with that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So with that, we are on to number 2 and one away from our top hack here. So Paul, what is your number 2 now that we sort of let the cat out of the bag a little bit?
All right. So yeah, number 2 is my colored canvas bags. I've got 2 different shapes, and so the the rectangular looking ones, and I've shown these in my videos, but the rectangular looking ones, those are for antennas and building things. Like I've got Coco charger, I've got a power pole kit. My Reliance end-fed half-wave antenna, the whole kit is in that bag. And so the green is the antenna, the red is power pole, the yellow is charging, for those bags. For the bigger bags, I've got a red one, which is all of my power stuff. It's got several different cords with power pole connectors on each end, distribution block, my watt meter. I also throw my microphone in there because microphone kind of goes with all the power stuff. And then I've got the blue bag is all my computer stuff for when I'm doing digital. It's got the digi-rig and all the assorted cables that go along with that. And so on and so forth. Anyways, different antenna systems. I have, different bags for different things, but 100%, I love being able to grab my bags out of a bin and know, like, all right, I'm grabbing the right color, so it's got what I need. The only difference is it's, depending on the radio, which so I've got one set for the 891 and I've got one set for the 7300. So I just got to verify that the radio model number is correct on the bag, and I'm good.
Nice. Okay. I got so many questions. So I think you sort of alluded to it, but how many bags do you usually bring when you go to assemble your, like, let's go play radio kind of thing for each radio?
He tows a trailer behind his truck.
I was gonna say it must be quite a bit.
Nope.
Uh-oh, he's running off. Time to get the assistant.
So, this is the current POTA bag.
Okay. So that's the Explorer. For those on our podcast, Paul is lifting up his Explorer backpack.
No, that is not an Explorer backpack.
Oh, that's okay. So that's the upgraded version from the trashed Explorer backpack that you want to get rid of.
Yeah, the Explorer bag is going to be a giveaway when I schedule a live stream. I'm going to do it
someday.
I swear, I'm going to do it. But that's it's a military 3-day bag is what they call it.
Okay.
But so I've got a lot of contingencies and extra things in there. So like I've got my connectors bag and my guying bag, and obviously the power and antenna bags. I brought the tuner bag. The tuner's orange. Okay. So that way I know. Doesn't matter which orange bag I grab, one of them has a tuner in it. But yeah, so typically, like when I'm going to a park that I don't know, I've never been to before, I always bring more than I need.
Okay.
So like yesterday in that bag still is all of the same stuff that I would bring for powering the 891 and just doing single sideband on the 891. My Bluetooth keyboard for logging, assorted charging cables, so that way the tablet doesn't die and whatever, you know.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I carry a lot more stuff than I really should. And yesterday I had to walk back to the truck because my Tenkara mast fucking snapped in half. So
Hold that thought. I want to talk about that one eventually. But so that was a nice political answer. You still didn't answer. How many bags do you usually take with you? Number, please.
6.
Okay. All right. Well, that's not terribly that bad. Okay. All right.
Six-
And then
Six of the
bags?
colored
6 of the
canvas
colored
bags.
pouches. Right.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
not yeah, the small stuff. Yeah,
I was like,
we're not
6
talking
bags.
about full like backpacks.
Yeah, no,
Gonna
there's
say-
five of the larger ones and then one of the rectangulars.
Got it. Okay. And then my other question is how religious are you with this system? Like, do you have you violated it or changed it up and then said we need to apply this across all the bags, or have you just stuck with the system and it just worked?
So honestly, the system works and it works well because if I know exactly what I need,
Yep.
I know that I can grab 3 bags, 3 of the canvas bags, and I can throw them in whatever bag that I'm hiking with that day or I'm going to the park with that day. And those 3 bags are going to get the job done. And that's the power bag, the antenna bag, and the logging, like, with my Bluetooth keyboard, that stuff.
Right.
I can grab those 3 bags and I can go and I can be good.
Okay. So it sounds like you pretty much just from iteration only, come to a set system that hasn't, failed you yet.
Right. Well, so like, okay. Well, all right. No, well, I'll hold that thought. I'll hold that thought
Cat's out of
because
the bag.
it rolls into my number 1.
Okay, well then, all right, go ahead.
Okay.
If you need to set the stage, do it. But
No. We'll hold that because it rolls into my number 1. So I'll
Okay.
continue the story after.
Okay, all right, cool. So we'll put a pin in that one, as they say, and go from there. So Todd, what is your number 2 there for your POTA hacks?
All right. So, like you said, I started off with a non LTE or iPad,
Yep.
and I actually traded it in and bought a LTE iPad just because it just makes life a lot easier. I used to try to do the hotspot; it didn't really work too well. But what I do is with the LTE, as soon as I'm done with the POTA, so I don't forget, I upload it right away. So
Yeah, you
if
can
I
do that on the iPad, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Okay.
So so I do it. Yeah, I mean, you just basically you download, so from the logging software, you just put it into a file. I have it. POTA logs is a folder I have on my iPad, and I just upload the ADIF. What is that? What it's called? ADIF file.
ADI file. Yep. Right.
And then I go to the POTA app and I just pull it from that file and bring it over there, and it works really well. It like uploads very quickly, and you can do it right after you're done. So that's what that's what I've done. But I mean, again, is it something you need to have? It just makes life a lot easier, and it's also kind of cool because when you're doing the portable what do you call it, the mobile loggers, you can you can see the map of where you're meeting and where you're kind of reaching and stuff. So I like to look at that live and see what I'm doing. And it also pulls up all their information, so you can who you're talking to and stuff. So
sure. So that's simplicity and
yeah.
helps you
But so
connect
my
with your
thing
household.
wasn't so much of getting the LTE, but going off what you said. But my thing is like being able to download the logs right after you're done.
Yeah. That when I learned that from you, I was like, dude, that's a thing to do. And I suffer because it stinks when I do, like, I have a Polo on my iPhone, and long story short, I wish I could actually upload directly from the POTA app on the browser, but they don't allow it on smartphones. So it's like I have to drag out my iPad. But yeah, having it on the iPad to be able to go straight there. I can't wait till Polo and all the other stupid loggers finally just get automatic upload built in, and it's a done deal. But that's
like you just go boom, send the POTA. Yeah,
I mean, you can do spots.
I just email it to myself.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you could do. I've just been doing it right away, like especially because then if I'm like down south for work, and I'm doing it, like I'll forget, I'll come on and then I'll have to go back and look like, oh, I didn't put that one in, and I just like to get it in and and then I like to see the stats and like where I'm at. So
see. I'm a first world problem person. So yeah, damn, I can't get my logs now and the instant gratification that I uploaded it. And I've already come on, get the game going here.
Right.
All right. Well, cool on that one. So yeah, definitely a good hack there for sure. If you can upgrade and do that. But again, there's always many ways to be able to skin a cat, as they say. So, don't feel like you have to upload your logs immediately, but it's definitely a benefit for sure, especially if you get good cell service. All right. So with mine, this has kind of been a topic that all of us already have and we all use. But this is kind of twofold because they kind of piggyback on one another. If you got an 891, and all of us here do, and we all love our 891s, that if the first thing you buy whatsoever with the 891 is run out, go to Amazon, wherever, and get yourself an RJ45 extension cable. Plug that thing in the radio, and you've got instantaneous mic hookup left and right. Many hams early on when that finally kind of came into the scene, we're all doing it. I know I've had several questions from people on my channel and just in general walking by, who may have not known about it, have been like, oh, that's a wonderful idea. So do that to your radio. It will save yourself in the long haul and keep your mic from getting beat up. But the addendum to that hack is also go out and buy yourself an extension splitter with 2 ports in it, because we all do, 2-op activations, and, you definitely need to have that capability, because I don't know about you, but passing the mic, and Paul and I did a video, doing Russell Abbott, doing the mic back and forth was just like, you just want to, you want to strangle yourself, because it's like seconds to a large pileup that you're missing out with, having to go back and forth with the mic. So having that capability is definitely a plus. Now, just keep in mind the caveat. A lot of people don't know that those splitters are active, meaning that if Paul keys the mic, I don't have to key my PTT on the other mic. They can hear my voice through my mic because the circuit completes on both sides. So just keep that in mind. So if you got a wisecracking, person on the other side that's your second activator, that stuff's going to go right over the top of you, on top of you. So, just keep that in mind. It's an active. But
so wait a minute. So if I press the mic, even if you're not pressing your mic, they can hear. It
opens up the mic on my side. Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Active.
Because we've both used that a lot, like that double.
I know. I didn't dawn on me until I looked at the wire pairing diagram. I'm like, yeah, dude, that's just going to complete the circuit all the way through. There's no doubt in my mind. And a few other people actually confirmed that for me. I think KB9VBR did it on an episode of Hacks a while back and said that too as well. I was like, that confirms it. So yeah, don't be a smartass as a second op there. That's all I have to give as a tidbit there. Or dude, I don't care. Be a smartass. It helps. All right, so that's my number 2 there. All right, so now we are at the top of the heap, top of the pile here. What is your number 1, Paul, for rounding out our top 5 hacks for POTA tonight?
All right, so the number 1 thing that is by far the biggest lifesaver in all of POTA: redundancies. And using my color, but using my color-coded bags, I know that I've got redundancies built in, right? So my gray bag is my connectors bag.
Yep.
And so I know that in my gray bag is all of my miscellaneous connectors, and I will throw the gray bag in like the extras stuff that I take out with me, just to have it. However, in the green rectangular antenna bag, I know that I've got a BNC to SO239 connector or adapter, at least one. I think I've got a straight and a 90-degree well. Plus,
you've had more than that. I have been the beneficiary of, hey, Paul, do you happen to have? Yeah, I've got a couple. No problem.
well, no, that day I went into the bin and I grabbed the connector bag because you don't take from your bags,
Exactly.
right? So I would never take from my antenna bag. My antenna bag has several adapters in it. If I don't bring my guying bag, but I happen to run into a situation where I need to guy something, I've at least got two, aluminum tent stakes and 550 cord in my antenna bag, so I can get by. Right? It's a system of redundancies, so I can bring out the whole kit and caboodle in a big tote and leave it in my truck, and then have just what I need or what I think I'll need in my backpack, and then I can hike in, and then, God forbid, you forget something or you need to go back to the truck for something. I mean, at least you're not going home.
Sure.
You're going back to the truck. So
now I have to ask: are your redundancy systems include coax or no?
Yes.
How much coax are you bringing with you?
All right. So in the antenna bag, there's a 15-foot length of RG316 with BNCs on both ends, and 9 times out of 10, that's all I need. That's perfect. It's a nice short length. It saves me from bringing a big thing of coax. However, it's not that hard to strap a 50-foot roll of RG8. It's not POTA Flex because that's Messi and Poloni. It's the ABR brand.
Yeah, ABR.
POTA.
Yep.
And so I just have that Velcro strapped on the outside of my bag, and it's there if I need it. But I shouldn't need it because the RG316 in the antenna bag should cover it.
Oh man. Well, all I have to say to that is
Radio Shack.
All right. Well, that was impressive. I aspire to be you, my friend. Like, my redundancies are, we'll say shameful, but I'm working towards getting to that level, I think. And I have to thank you for nudging me along because all you guys have been firsthand, experienced of me forgetting something, antenna or whatever, or heard my horror stories. So yeah, I applaud you for having some of those systems and just trying to get better with it. So it's good stuff there. Cool. All right. Any add to that, Todd? You want to throw in there that maybe moves the needle for you?
For him or for
redundancies in general for you?
Well, yeah. I mean, we all aspire to be Paul because he is the most prepared person I've ever met, and I like his roles. I mean, okay, he's very successful at being prepared. So whatever he does, we should probably all just follow suit.
Follow him.
So, yeah,
just create the paperwork, Todd. Paul will just follow you, whatever it is.
All right.
Cool. Okay. Well, with that, then, Todd, what do you got for your number one?
All right. So this is my number one hack: is set up your logs before you go out. Meaning, go on your mobile logger, and if you're going to be doing 3 parks that day, make 3 logs, get them all set up, get the park numbers in there, get everything set up, and then that way all you got to do is put on the frequency of where you're at and you're good to go. I've had times, I think one time with you, Eric, is you must have done that, or you were more prepared and you started activating, and I didn't even have a log set up yet. I'm like, whoa, slow down. So now, if I know I'm going out, right before, I mean, it doesn't take long, but it can make a difference. I mean, if you think about it, when we did the Rove, I think I put in like 10 or 15 logs of like all the parks that we possibly were going to do. And then, so it was a lot easier than trying to sit there and go through and set it all up. So That's something I do pretty much every time, unless it's like a sporadic one where I just show up because I just drove by a park and I've got some time. But if I'm planning to do a park, I'll have that set up before I leave.
Very cool. All right. Well, that's a good tip there for sure. I know, although, the benefits to Polo and others get really good logging wise is that they're obviously auto naming logs now at this point. So you don't even have to you can put Bupkis in it and we'll automatically label it for you. So
it's gotten a lot. Yeah. Like the Polo has gotten, I mean, it's such an awesome app, but it's gotten a lot easier. So you don't need to worry about it as much, but I don't know.
Well,
maybe
I'll
it's
tell
just
you the time that Todd joined me out at Russell Abbott, it would have done me a lot of good had I set up my log when I had cell service.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
You would have updated
because you were
your
behind.
Polo app too.
I had to just send it to him. Yeah.
That's a good point there. Yep. Check your software before you leave the house when you have good internet.
Yeah. Because I was like, Todd, can you just send me your log? I'll just change the call sign.
It's all good. Tuck my tail. All right. Well, with that, then good on that one. I have one for my top. It's sort of alluded to. Paul did it as number 5, but I'm saying improving upon the system. I'm a comfort guy. I like to be comfortable when I'm doing any activity, whatever it is. So whether it's hiking or field day or whatever, I stress comfort. Like, it's number 1 in my book, no matter what, because if you're not happy, sitting or whatever, that you're just going to hate your activation. It's just going to be one of those things that you're just not going to like. So I started like Paul, for a long time. I used to keep beach chairs and like other stuff, like folding chairs in the back of my truck, and they were always getting banged around. And I had a small little folding table that, was a metal, like kind of folded up, but didn't really fold up into like something portable. That I used to keep in the back of the truck, and it used to always get banged up and moved around, and that's what I used for most of my activations, and it worked fine. But I'd be like Paul, I'd have a metal table under my arm, I'd have my chair wrapped around my bag, I'd have my POTA bag on my back, and if I didn't remember at that point when I left the truck to put the antenna on my shoulder too as well, I've had like 5 bags carrying out, and so all my activations were no more than 10 or 20 yards away, because by the time I had loaded it all and whatever, and so I said enough is enough. So I started doing some research and started looking into some products from Helinox. And everybody who knows Helinox, they have a great portable chairs, tables. I mean, everything you kind of think under the sun. And so I kind of felt them out a little bit. Ran a couple of their chairs because I was looking for the portability, but I also wanted some strength in it because these things are going to get beat up. And so they kind of, bubbled up to the top, both on people that have used them. I've seen them in the, field use. KB1 ICL. John uses them as well. And so I bought the Helinox table, and I also bought the chair. And in my truck, on one of my saddlebags that I have on the side of the bed, I've got 2 little hooks, and those things in the bags, because they pack down to literally just probably about 4 inches longer than Paul's colored bags. In terms of the size, in terms of how they pack down. So I'm like all for it. So basically I can hang them off the smallest saddlebags. They stay up and off the bottom of the bed so they don't get wet or damaged. And I can set all of that up in literally probably 5 minutes. And the chairs are super comfortable. The table is super strong. I've decked all the table out with literally about another 4 more inches off the side of the Paul's bag as he's seeing. For those that are on the podcast, you'll have to watch the video. But the Helinox chairs, if you've used them, you sat in them, they're very comfortable in terms of activations and stuff, and they pack down super light. And that's kind of what I'm thinking, and that's what's replaced exactly what I have long term. So the nice part about the Helinox table is it all folds up in a small little bag, but I can put all of my stickers on the top of it, and the stickers don't get ruined. So it's like I get to customize it still, so it looks a little bit like a POTA table, but all good stuff. And I'm definitely gonna start using that more in the spring, summer, and whatever's left until winter kind of sets in here. But yeah, those are the 2 big things I bought recently, and I love them. And they have saved a lot of space and weight, and make activations much easier for sure going forward.
Well, I'll tell you, I absolutely love my pod rockers. Right?
Yeah, those are comfortable.
They're very comfortable, but they're big and they're heavy. And like I want to do more summits, and I've been looking at the Helinox, and so I think it might end up in my Christmas wish list. And the other thing too is mast. Is I broke mine.
Did you suffer the last two section snap?
Yeah. So I don't know for those that aren't familiar, but I use a Tenkara 7-meter rod as my mast. And I had broken the top two elements before, and I had replaced them, but this time around I broke the top 5 elements.
Oh, wow! You really abused that one.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to see what the Takara looks like, Mike actually did. Mike N2MK did a review on his mast, episode show, not episode, or video. So check that out, and you'll see the Tenkara on that one. He had one, but he snapped his last element off. So wow, you really sent it home.
Oh, I had it guide, and I had the base firmly planted in the beach sand.
Oh.
And I was running the wire through the carabiner at the top. I was just lightly pulling it through to make an inverted V. And yeah, I don't know. It must have hung on the carabiner just slightly and done.
Oh. At that point, you're like, where do I put? I don't have a tree to put this up in.
Well, and that's where, thank you, redundancies, because I had grabbed my my antenna bag, right? Which my so my big green military antenna bag is almost 4 feet long, and it's a roll up oiled canvas, but it's an actual military antenna bag, and I keep the Wolford recoil complete setup in that, and the MPass 2.0 complete setup. So I had thrown that in the truck, so I went back to the truck, and what I did was I used the MPass ground spike and loading coil with the 17-foot whip. Wow. And then I ran my radial into the ocean.
There you go. Redundancy at its finest right there, my friend.
Yeah.
All right, Todd. So with your number one, I think, right? Yep. Yeah. Did you already give you number one? My gosh, my brain is so fun. Okay. All right. Well,
yeah.
Well, I wanted to go back.
You were the last one.
Yeah, I was, right. All right, cool. Okay. So
I want to go back to this Helinox stuff. So these aren't cheap, these chairs, right?
No, they are not cheap.
So, but I'm looking at it online, and I mean, they look well made. I mean, are these well made chairs? Like, are they going to last a while, or are they?
I have yet to see a bad review, and like Eric had said, KB1 ICL John Bach, he's got it. He brought it to I believe Winter Field Day.
He did.
And dude, I sat on it. It's actually comfortable, and it's not bad.
So what there's so many different ones. Like, is it just like the Chair Zero high back? Is that the chair that you probably use? Like, that's looks like the. I mean, there's either that one or the like the square one, but like a regular chair looks like called the Chair Zero high back. It's $180, and then the tables are hard top is $170. The table one is $140, and the table. And then the cafe table is $249. Holy crap, $250. That's some expensive stuff.
You're talking about the Helinox stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen one so I can't say. I mean, I'm assuming it's not just the name, and it's like I think it's well quality stuff. Is it light?
Yeah.
Like
lighter,
lighter than like our rocker chairs that we got with the.
Way light. I mean, literally, we're talking ounces.
Yeah,
it's
and they sell it at REI, right?
You could do no, they don't. Sadly, that's the only place. I got mine off of Amazon, and I got a couple of good deals. So Black Friday's coming up, so I would say check Black Friday deals on those.
Yeah, I'm at the REI shop, and it says they
don't have them in store, at least in our neighborhood. So the one over in Bedford doesn't have it. But yeah, I went up to Trading Post up in Maine to check all the stuff out because they have a bunch of different ones.
They've got one. They've got the Chair Zero. Which one do you have?
I have the Savannah, which is the larger one with the higher back.
The Savannah. Well, that one's what table do you have?
I have the larger table. So that's the
hard top large.
Yeah, hard top large.
And that's big enough to do your.
I can nicely set up my laptop, the FTA, doing digital. I can do my radio, the battery, everything, and still have enough space that I don't, like nothing's like where my old table. I had to squeeze everything in tight to make everything work.
Mm-hmm.
That table is nice and big, and I can spread out, very easily. So
I mean, they even sell a bench.
Yeah,
I'm looking on the website.
Saw that.
Like the Helinox bench, that's pretty sweet.
They've got a cover to the Savannah too, so if you want to add a plush foam, so if you're sitting in it longer, you can just put a cover over the top of it. So I'm like, oh man, this is get expensive fast.
Yeah, I don't see the Savannah one. Hold on, they sell cots too. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, they have a lot of really, really nice stuff.
The Max convertible is $480. That thing better be nicer than my bed.
So
I think the prices are a little high, but I mean, you get what you pay for sometimes.
So Chair Zero high back is what it is. It's called I got it in black. That's like $1.79. So it's almost
the Chair Zero high back. Yeah, that's the one I'm saying.
Yeah. Even the stool, they have a small little folding up stool that packs away. That is pretty slick too as well. That would be perfect for POTA. That I was thinking if that packs down to a small little bag, yeah. It's called the Speed Stool.
Speed Stool. I see a cafe table.
Yep, up on Helinox's website.
All right.
Under their ultra lightweight chairs.
I'm gonna check out this. This looks like a pretty cool stuff. It is. I'm gonna have to check yours out because I want to see how compact it goes and how light and comfortable it is.
Yeah, I'm actually in my video I did for my truck when I did the full walk around, I showed those in the setup. So check that out, or I can show you sometime.
Well, I mean, when next time we do a POTA, if we ever do one again.
Yeah, we will. Oh, guaranteed. I got to get that fixed again.
Yeah, even when there's snow on the ground, it's still POTA time.
Yeah, I'm in the truck. Sorry. When that happens, that's where I draw the line.
I'm kind of excited for Winter Field Day. So since I missed regular field day, I think I'm gonna, Paul, talk to you. I think I'm gonna do it the whole night, the whole thing.
Well, so here's a little tickler. One, we're doing it up at Ralph's. So for those that may not know, that our current president in the club, he lives 1300 ASL in a nice 80-acre 30-acre property that he has on top of pretty much a mountain. So we'll have all of the height to our advantage. Marvin just told me, M0MET, the ham radio guy, he's actually bringing if the snow doesn't show and it's just grass and dirt, he's bringing his trailer. So he'll have his full communications trailer, tower, and everything else like that.
And he's doing Winter Field Day with us.
Yeah, I guess he said his club isn't going to be doing Winter Field Day, and so he's like, yeah, I'm just going to come up that way. And he's like, if it snows, I'm not bringing the trailer, but I'm coming up anyway. So between Paul with his setup, and everybody else,
I'm going to need a shelter or something.
Yeah, well, you probably want to get one of those ice hut shelters. Not the one I bought. Please don't buy that one. That was a bad mistake.
I'll reach out to Paul and get his.
Yeah, exactly. Talk to him.
And the heater, that little heater too, that little propane.
I got one of those buddy heaters.
Yeah, those things are. All I remember last year, I walked into Paul's little igloo thing, and dude, he was in shorts. It was 80 degrees in there. It was the dog was
sweating. That's how hot it was.
Meanwhile, I'm out there, my toes are frozen, and everyone else is freezing. Paul's sitting there
Paul knows how to do it. We'll have to have a specific winter episode when we get closer to field day and some of the prep we'll do, and we'll talk about that. It'll be fun.
Cool. All right. Awesome.
All right, cool. Well, let's all those are some great tips, and great hacks. Hopefully they, you learn something yourself a little bit, maybe a new one that you haven't done in your own setups. But as always, hey, let's keep this conversation going. We're going to have this posted over in our Discord under our show's episode. So when this goes live, you can head over there to our Discord site, and participate. Let us know what's going on with your POTA hacks. Do you have a couple that we might have missed on or that we don't want? And share, feel free to share with that. We're always interested in learning new stuff ourselves.
Can I just do an extra one? Just a good idea for anyone doing POTA.
Yeah, throw one in. Why not? Go ahead.
I think what I do is I have I made a printout, but you can even buy them now, pamphlets that talk about what POTA is and how to get on the site. I think it's good to have a stack of those, just to when people come up, because we've all been there and people say, hey, what are you doing? And I think it's just good for ham radio and it's good for POTA. The more people you get involved, and if they have something they can put in their hand and they can look it up, they throw it around, they might look it up and get on their phone and go to the website and see what it's all about. So I like to have those in my bag, just as when people come around, so they know what we're doing.
Yeah, totally. A good tip there, and that's something we should probably do another episode on, because I know there's a lot of good stuff that we can kind of help people build their own little POTA brochures if they don't use the one that's up on POTA's website or whatever. Right. Cool. Well, so with that, again, carry the conversation over at the Discord. We'd love to have you guys there. If you don't know how to get to our Discord, you can always head over to livefreeandham.com, and a link is down at the bottom, and it's always in our show notes too as well. So there's no reason why you just can't click it and become part of Discord, and hang out with us. We've got people hopping in all the time, so it's great to see new faces, and we're going to have to make a little segment here and as new people pop on, because I know we've had a couple of those that have joined recently, and I don't have it up right now, so I can't tell you who it is. But we thank you guys for joining in and hanging out and having some fun. So with that, let's get into how you can get a hold of us as we wrap the show up. You can always head over to subscribe our YouTube channel, catch all the awesome content, including our videos here that are live streamed. And if you're so inclined, you can participate in our live streams. Those are once a month. As always, and the only way you can get notified by those is to check out either our Discord or make sure you're subscribed and you get that notification bell set. It'll alert you when we go live. And as always, you can leave us a review, or tell us what's going on. If you need some help, you want to share a great story, or you just want to say hello, you can always use our SMS link, and it's located in all of our show notes. Or you can leave us a voicemail at 978-233-1142. Tell us about your day. Tell us about anything. Share it with us. We'd love to hear it. And as we say, we have volunteers ready and waiting in the background. Well, just not really, but either way. All right. And so with that, if you want to be on the in, and why wouldn't you? You can always head over to our Patreon page. And subscribe there, because we are always doing some great things there, and you can always find the latest information before the rest of the world knows about what's going on with Live Free and Ham. And don't forget, if you haven't already and you are interested, we always have our whiskey glasses. Can't forget about these. Blue screen is killing it. These are run for a limited time. There you go. Paul's showing it right there on his screen. These are limited time on our website. Once they're gone, they're gone. These are uniquely branded Live Free and Ham podcast grams for those whiskey drinkers and bourbon drinkers. And if you want to put your water in it, sure, go ahead. It's totally fine too. We won't slander you here. This is the circle of trust. So, but get your Live Free and Ham drams there, because they are limited run as always. And if you want to learn more about us and what's going on with the show, you can always head over to livefreeandham.com and check out all of our latest swag, find all of our host information, and any of the contact info there. And as always, thanks again for listening. And from all of us at Live Free and Ham, 7-3.
7-3.
7-3.